Hi, my name is Connie. I'm glad you enjoyed your one-card reading, and I'm glad you signed up to learn more. I learned to read cards quite inadvertently. As a young teenager, I picked up a deck of tarot cards, used tarot cards without instructions at a church white elephant sale table. I did not realize there were instructions. I just thought the cards were beautiful, and as I entered nursing residence a few years later, I read the cards of an evening with the girls, and we enjoyed the results. It was quite my surprise later on when I discovered that the decks really did come with a piece of rice paper that was folded in many places and had many words describing each little card. The method that I am showing you today is one that does not require learning the things on the cards. It's just a matter of looking at the cards and reading them. There's no long paragraph about each card. There's no memorization required. So let's get started. First off, if you think of the cards as a storybook, in the olden days before the printing press was available, and even shortly after the printing press was available and printing things were such a bulky thing to do, the deck of tarot cards was a poor person's pocketbook, their storybook. Think of it as if you're going to sit down to read a book and you open up the book and all of a sudden all the pictures are there but there's no words. So you have to put the words in as you go along. That's what they did. And they would put in different words as the cards fell differently for every other person. So it's simply a storybook without the words, and you are responsible for putting the words in. So what will we cover today? Let's talk about the different kinds of decks, how to read by seeing the pictures instead of memorizing things, some simple layouts, and typical reading, and storing and taking care of your cards. The cards that you have may differ slightly from the ones that we are using in this study, but every single card deck of tarot cards has 78 cards, plus probably 2 blank ones. And they are made up of 4 suits, plus an extra. So if you're playing cards, you know you have 4 suits of cards. Let's look at some pictures. Here's one deck of cards. Here's the next deck of cards. Same type of deck, but with different, you can see the pictures are slightly different. They can be quite ornate or they can be very plain. Here's one that's all boxed in gold. Here's a plainer white one. And another. This is the famous classic deck, the Rider-Waite deck, which many people use. I would like you to learn with the deck that you were sent, and as you get more comfortable with it, you can spread out and buy something that appeals to you. They have cat tarot, they have vampire tarot, almost anything that you would like is out there. But first, get used to reading on a simple deck of cards. You received your deck of cards in the mail. It was in a pouch, and in the pouch there was a white rock. That was there for a reason. The white rock is a little piece of selenite. Selenite is nature's cleanser, and it will cleanse your cards and keep them pure and free of negative energies. Just simply keep the cards in the bag with that little piece of stone, and you'll be doing just fine. For a quick review from your one-card reading, which you all did, here's an example of a one-card reading where the card landed in an upright position, so the answer to the inquiry's question is yes. And then if your card had landed in this position upside down, the answer to the inquiry's question would have been no. A card landing this way meant probably, maybe. And landing this way was probably not. The chances aren't so good. I want you to take this time to sort your cards into 5 suits. If you haven't played with the cards that I sent you, then they'll be sorted that way, because that's the way a new card deck is sorted. If you've played with them, we'll have to get them back to the right order. You want to put them in 5 suits. The first suit will be something that looks like cups or chalices or bowls. And there will be, if you know how to play with regular playing cards, it'll be very similar. But your suits will have 1 extra card. It'll be Ace, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Page, Jack, Queen, King. So there'll be 1 extra card, but there'll be 4 suits. The first will be cups. The second will be pentacles or coins. The third would be swords. The fourth would be wands or sticks or batons. And finally, there'll be 21 cards with numbers 0 through 21 at the top that don't look like they fit together at all. Those will be a suit of trump cards. So sort them all out. Now, instead of memorizing things by rote, the cup card, whenever a cup card comes up, you think relationships. It can be love, it can be a platonic relationship, but something to do with a relationship. Whenever a pentacle card comes up, you think about physical possessions or money, just like the coin is a picture on the front of that card. Whenever a sword comes up, you think of energy, usually conflict. And whenever a wand or a baton comes up, you think of work, new work, or a new project at work, or a new work energy of some sort. Those 4 suits make up the minor arcana, and the 22 cards make up the major arcana. Arcana is simply a long old-fashioned word for meaning set of facts. So you're having a minor set of facts and a major set of facts. So when the major arcana comes up anywhere, it takes precedence over the 4 suits. It's a trump card. It's more important. So here we have again an example of the cards. You see the Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups means simply what it pretenses to mean. Something to do with relationships, and it's a new beginning or a new start. These cards are steeped in the church religion, so you see the water coming out of the cup being the water baptism, a fresh start, a washing, a cleansing, a beginning, a rebirth. So when you see the Ace of Cups, it's the beginning of a relationship or the renewal of a relationship of some sort. It can be mother and daughter, father and son, lover. It doesn't have to be strictly soulmate. Then you see the Ace of Pentacles. A hand outstretched with a coin in it. The coin, so you've got a lot of money coming in. Enough that you can keep for yourself or that you can give out, you can be generous with. And it's coming just out of the blue in most cases. Look at the clouds around his arm. Ace of Swords, beginning of conflict, beginning of conflict, beginning of sharp ideas. The Ace of Wands, or batons. This stick is a tree limb starting to bud, so it's the beginning of work, or the beginning of an idea of work. Something to do with work in the beginning. The major arcana, they're all pretty straightforward. The Fool, the young man starting out on a journey. The Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress. Number 4 is the Emperor. Number 5 is the Hierophant. That's about the only one you might really not be able to catch right off. The Hierophant was in the olden days an official high up in the church. So if you draw the Hierophant, it symbolizes something traditional, something being done the right way, something being done the blessed way, something you're not cutting corners in, you're doing it just going down the straight and narrow, that kind of thing. Number 6 is the Lovers, and the Chariot, symbolizing motion, strength. The Hermit, number 9, symbolizing solitude, but he's a good solitude, a time of being by yourself, but you enjoy it. The Wheel of Fortune, Justice. The Hangman, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Death. Death does not mean death. It means the end of something, the end of a cycle, the end of a relationship, the end of a job, but it doesn't mean death, so don't fear the death card when it comes up. Temperance. The Devil. Likewise, the Devil is not sin, it's merely excess. It can be going off your diet, binging, having a shopping spree, or something along that nature, just excess. The Tower. See all these people falling out of the Tower. The Tower means drastic change, a real shake-up in your life. It can be for good, it can be for bad. The Star. You're wishing on a star. Your wish is going to come true. The Moon. The light of the moon is very pale. You can't see where you're going. The Sun. The Sun is very bright and brings new life and a new year, so it's always a very positive card. Judgment. Exactly like it sounds. And the World. You got the World on a string. It's going your way. I'll give you further definitions of these as we go along, but these are just a general idea that you can get from just looking at their faces. Let's spend a few minutes going over just a few general thoughts on the cards. A king. Think about a king. If you draw a king of any suit, it's masculine energy, an older man, responsibility, wisdom, authority. So if you draw a King of Cups, he's an older man, and he dwells in the emotional area of our lives, for good or bad. It can be a husband, a lover, a father, a mentor, but somebody that is very close to us and influences us for good or bad. If you draw the King of Pentacles, it would be an older man, again, but he would influence you greatly in regard to your finances or your earthly possessions. If the husband holds the purse strings in the family, it might be him. It might be a father. Any man who holds the purse strings. If you would draw the King of Swords, again it would be an older man. And he would be one that challenges your ideas and your plans. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. But he raises questions about what you're doing all the time. And if you draw the King of Wands, that again would be a male, an older man, but it'd be related to work, especially in anything, a venture. Might be a family member that's the boss of a family business. Something like that. So the kings are always male energy, an older man, a man with authority, and those would be the general meaning of the kings. The queens then would be an older lady, female energy, and they have a firm power of what was going on in their life. So if you would draw the Queen of Cups, that would be a female energy, an older woman, that influences you in all matters of the heart. It could be a grandmother, a mother, even a teacher. It's just some female energy that really influences you in all matters of your heart. If you draw the Queen of Pentacles, this shows a female again, an older woman, who's shrewd and has domestic and has good business sense. Could be a partner, could be a mother, could be a lover. If you would draw the Queen of Wands, you would again be an older woman. And this is one that would facilitate networking, intuition, getting work going. If you would draw the Queen of Swords, Some people say that that is a woman with a sharp tongue. But someone that has an intense mental acuity and can see through the fluff, and it challenges you to solve your problems outside the box, and cause quite a bit of unrest in your life if you're not sure of your being in your doings. The Jacks. This would be a younger male, between the ages of maybe 19 and 26, 27, that kind of thing. And just think of a young 20-year-old man, and you've got the picture. Someone who represents speed and force and strength, thinks last, acts first. So sometimes his act seems kind of rash. So the Jack of Cups would be your knight in shining armor, races to help you out without checking out all the consequences. The Jack of Pentacles brings about money again, launches into things that wraps it all up. The Jack of Swords conquers, it's the ending of the battle that you've been fighting. Whatever kind of battle you've been fighting, the end is in sight when he appears. And the Jack of Wands does battle for you in areas of work and finances. Then come the pages. We're not familiar with pages from the way we have a deck of cards. A page or a knave is a young person. It can be a male or a female, and it represents naivety, and devotion, and sensitivity, trusting, simple. It can be a child of your own. It can be a godchild, or it can be a student at school if you're a teacher. Any young person, maybe 13 or under, male or female. So if you have draw the Page of Cups, you know that's emotion and sensitivity, the building of a love relationship is happening. Pentacle is when whispers of a financial trends. Swords are the beginning of an idea or a thought. And Wands will show you the path to your Page of Wands will show you the path to your creativity and your inspiration. You don't have to remember all this. You've got it written out in the handout I gave you, and it's back here if you want to look at it again. But these are just brief meanings to give you an idea. They're stepping stones or points. I want you to get away from memorizing the long and confusing descriptions. Just as I said earlier, pretend you put a toddler to bed. You settle down for your story, you open the book, and all of a sudden the text is missing. Look at each card as it lies down in front of you and allow different aspects of the card to pop out and grab your attention. One card may read differently depending on who you put it in front of. A person will remind you of one thing or another, and the card will remind you of one thing or another. And then we did the aces. Beginnings, fresh starts, initiation. So if you drew the Ace of Cups, it'd be the beginning of peace or tenderness, love, a new relationship, platonic or a lover. Pentacles would be the beginning of improved status, improved responsibility, improved rewards, maybe a new salary. The Swords would be the beginning of a new idea, and Wands are the takeoff of creativity, work related. Pictures of the Ace of Cups. Yours may not look like that, but in some way there'll be one cup, or one bowl, or one chalice, or one cauldron if you've got the Witch's deck. Your Ace of Pentacles. Again, there'll be one hand with one coin of some sort on your card. Ace of Swords. And they're steeped in old-fashioned, old mythology and old symbolism that we don't recognize anymore, like the laurel coming out of the crown, or the victory, that kind of thing. And the Ace of Rods or Wands. You can see it is a tree that's starting to bud, so it's the beginning of things. It's over top of a river, so things are flowing well. The mountains, it's over top of the mountains, so you've overcome your hardship. And we're not going to go over them one by one, but there's a chart here that's got key phrases for the 2 through 10 in each suit. So if you get stuck, you've got something you can come back to look at. You can put it, fold it up in your purse, or put it inside a closet door or something. You shouldn't need to rely on it, but it's there if you hit a dead wall or draw a blank. Just by looking at each card, you should be able to see something in it, as if you were telling a story. There's quite an extensive printout here for you. Very concise, very short. Both the major and the minor arcana is covered. And as you see, it makes a lot of sense if you just look at it. Okay, enough talk, let's get down to it. In the truer sense of the word, a reader will put the deck back into sequence before shuffling and using it for a reading. That's i.e. putting it back from 1 to King in the 4 suits in the major arcana. It makes for a purer and a better reading, and many readers have 2 or 3 decks just lined up, so they'll always have one that's ordered. You may not wish to do this, but that's the true and correct way of doing it. And when your cards are not being used, they should be stored in a pouch that extends them in, or in a box, or some way that they can be, the negative energy of the world can be kept off of them. Before each reading, some readers bless their cards. They just take the deck and put it up against their heart and say, "This reading is in the highest and best good of," and then state the name of the person you're reading it for. Or some people hold the deck in front of their third eye, believing that it'll give them more psychic abilities to do the reading correctly. There's a big question about letting someone else touch your deck. Many people feel that their deck should not be touched by anyone but themselves. This is something you'll have to decide. So you will either shuffle the deck, or your customer will shuffle the deck, whichever you prefer. If you want the customer to handle the deck, you allow them to cut the deck and shuffle the deck and draw from it. If you don't want them to touch the deck, you'll be the only one that touches the deck until they draw from it. So what you'll do is as we discussed earlier on, you or your client, whichever one it is, will think of a question that has a yes or no answer. And you'll concentrate on it while the cards are being shuffled. And then when the shuffling stops, you'll stop shuffling the cards, and you'll either fan them out in your hand or put them down on the table face down. And depending on what your custom is, the customer will draw 1 card, or cut the cards and then draw 1 card. However, you're going to end up with 1 card. And you would know that this one here, for example, the answer is yes to whatever the question was, because the card landed in that right position. That's the Hermit, right side up. But let's give this a try. Let's take it up a next step. There are 3 cards: the Wheel of Fortune, the Tower, and the Pentacles. 2 of Pentacles. This is past, present, and future. First card is the past, the middle is the present, and the end card is the future. Without knowing anything about the faces of these cards, just by looking at them, you could give the reading to the person that in the past, things have been going pretty smoothly for them because the card is upright. Presently, they're having a bit of a rocky patch because the card is upside down. But in the future, things are going to look up and get bright again because the card is right side up. That's a very easy reading to give. If you wanted to delve into it deeper, you could know the meanings of your cards. You'd say, in the past, the world was really going your way. Currently, there's a big change. You're going through a big change in your life because that's the Tower upside down. And in the future, things are still going to go your way because the card is right side up. But you're going to be doing a bit of a balancing act with money. See the man balancing his coins back and forth. but it's still a good reading. Let's try the next one. In this one we've got the Two of Pentacles right side up, the Five of Pentacles right side up, and the Wheel of Fortune right side up. So right off you can say this is a good reading. Without going into details, you can say your past has been pretty smooth for you, and the present is okay, and the future is looking up because you have the Wheel of Fortune in your path and it's right side up. Or you could go into it a little deeper. You could go back to the beginning. You could say in the past things are going all right for you, although you were had a bit of a balancing out with money going on. There's a man is balancing and juggling his money. Currently, things are still looking up, but these two people, see, they're walking with their head down to the snow. They're missing the money that's in their path. So currently, you're missing opportunities. But in the future, things are going to go your way because the Wheel of Fortune is right side up. Give this one a try. Here you've got the Two of Pentacles right side up, the Eight of Pentacles right side up, and the Two of Wands right side up. So you could give a very easy reading again because all the cards are in the upright position. You could say the past has been pretty smooth for you. You've got no major waves in your life right now. In the present and in the future, things are going to go smoothly for you as well. You don't have to use very professional, stiff wording. So you can just use common wording like I've used, and it's a lot better. Or knowing what you know now, you could look into the cards a little deeper and you could say in the past you've had a bit of money problems, money's been tight, you've had to balance it a bit. Currently you're working at money, but you're doing it with the sweat of your brow, the work of your hands, like you're a musician or a carpenter or a builder, as opposed to a CEO or someone or a teacher or someone that thinks you actually are more like an artisan, because he's actually pounding it on the metal. And in the future, this is a businessman looking out over his ventures and seeing it's good. So in the future, your business ventures are promising and good. Let's give this one a try. Here we've got the Three of Wands upside down, the Two of Pentacles right side up, and the World right side up. So again, you could go into your superficial read and say the past has not been so good for you, it's been kind of rocky. Currently you're going through a bit of a balancing act with money, things look real tight, but in the future things are going to start going your way and it's going to be a good go of it. Okay. We'll do one more three and then we'll go on to a bigger layout. The last of our 3-card draws, it's all upright, all 3 cards are upright. You've got the Five of Wands, the Hangman, and the Hermit, they're all upright. So again, you could say things have been going fairly smoothly in your past. Present, there's no big bumps in the road, and the future is smoothly going as well. Or looking more deeply in it, you could look into say in the past there's been conflict at work, then the rods signify work, and there's men fighting with the rods. But it hasn't been a major deal. It's cleared the air. Some disputes are good and some are not so good, but this was a good dispute because the card is upright. Currently, you're in a bit of a situation. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. You're sort of stuck in one spot, but it's a good spot. You're looking forward, not looking backward. And in the future, you're going to be doing things alone. If you've been doing a joint project before, you're going to start doing things solo. It'll be a good move on your behalf. But you're going to be alone in a good way. It's not that you're ostracized or you don't have any friends. It's being alone in a good way. Okay, let's try something new. Now that you've got that under your belt. Now let's try a 4-card draw. In this case, a 4-card draw would be the past, the present, the near future, and the distant future for the final result. So you're looking at the past, the present, the near future, maybe from now to 3 or 4 months down the road, and then the long-term future, several years down the road. So let's look at this one. It's got 4 cards in it, the 5 of Wands, the Hangman, the Hermit, and the 7 of Pentacles, and they're all upright. So again, you could do the simple translation. In the past, things are pretty smooth going for you. In the present, there's no good, no bad. You're just kind of in a resting spot. The near future looks bright, and the far future looks bright. Or you can go back into it and say, in the past, there was a bit of discord at work, but you came out shining. You're currently in a rut or a resting place, but you're looking forward. In the future, you're going to be doing things solo, but at the very end of things, the final result is you're going to be looking back on your job situation or your possessions or your money and find that you got made enough. You see how the coins are growing, multiplying. He's planted his garden, he's enjoying the fruits of his labors. Do another one. Let's try. 5-card draw is very similar. It adds another element to it. The first one is the past, the second one is the present, the third one is the future, and the fourth one is the far future, the end result, and the 5th card goes sideways. And it is the obstacle, or the thing that's blocking you, or the thing that's keeping you from getting to where you need to go. So in the first example of a 5-card draw, we have the 5 of Wands, the Hangman, the King of, the Hermit, the 7 of Pentacles, and the 2 of Pentacles. So it's a very positive reading, and you would be able to read it by heart now. You've had it in the past. There's been a bit of turmoil at work. Currently you're in a position where you're not going forward or backward, but it's a good spot to be. You're looking forward because the card is upward. In the near future, you're going to be doing things solo. And the very end result is looking back on the money that you've made and being pleased with it. But the obstacle, or in the interim, each step before to get there, you're going to have a period of time where you're balancing your money and you have to be careful with it. That's how that one would read. Very easy. Let's try another one. Here we have the same reading we did before, but add an extra card to it. And you would be reading it, the 2 of Pentacles, the 5 of Pentacles, the 7 of Pentacles, the World, and the Tower. In the past, you've had a bit of a tight financial situation. You've been balancing balancing your money. Presently, you're walking by your missing opportunity in your life. In the very near future, you're going to, because you have missed this opportunity, you're going to be looking at your funds and your situation and not be pleased with what you're reaping. The end result will be that things are going your way and you will be very pleased. But in order to get there, there's going to be a major change in your life. Don't forget that the past is the past, the present is the present, and the future is the future, only if you don't change the present. So in this case, if you don't like the fact that you're not having a good return on your investment in the future, you would change the card, the 5 of Pentacles. You would turn around and you stop and you look for the investment that you're missing, and then the rest of the reading would change. So it depends entirely on how you deal with the present card in all cases. As you start reading for yourself and your family, there's going to be acquaintances and strangers asking you to have readings. And you want to look a little professional without cramping your flow. The 5-card draw would look like that. 5 cards just simply put beside each other on the table. What happens if you just grab a napkin from the table and add it to the mix? Put the napkin underneath. See how much more professional that looks? You may wish to get a silk runner or ornate cloth of some sort, but this is just an example of a simple napkin, what a difference it makes. Here we change the orientation of the cards to a 4-in-1, but it's still the same. And it's entirely up to you how they're numbered. As long as you do it the same all the time, it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, can be up and down, across, or sideways ways. Again, it's the past, the present, the near future, the end result, and the obstacle. Here we have the same layout, but we've added a rock to it, in this case an amethyst. Make it look a little more jazzy. Want to jazz it up even more? Put a candle with it. Some people don't like candles, they're afraid of the flame. Put a fancy rock, this is a pyrite rock, on top of the deck of cards. That makes it look fancy as well. Or a stone layout at the side of them. Whatever it is that you fancy. Some points to consider. If you're shuffling the cards, or dealing with the cards in any way, and a card sticks, or falls out, or jumps out, or leaps out onto the floor, don't put it back in the deck. Those cards are called leapers or jumpers, and they're trying to get your attention. It should be the most significant card in the reading. In fact, it will take precedence over any cards that fall for a regular reading. It will be the way that a regular reading finishes, or you can read it all on its own without the other cards. That is the card that's trying to get your attention. It is the one that you must read. Also, always have a box of tissues near you, because the customer will often engage the customer. A customer, for example, the type that come for readings a lot are people that aren't appreciated or respected in their place in their own orbit. And often just you acknowledging that they're going through a rough spot in their life, with a card acknowledging that they're having a rough spot right now, or have had a rough past, will cause the floodgates to open and be such a cathartic and good experience for them. But beware of the time and how it's progressing. You don't want to get in with the Aunt Matilda, who's still with you 46 minutes after the reading, asking about your third generation Bobbsey twins and how many presents she got when she was 6 years old and what the future holds for her cousin. And you best to, right off the start, just to set some sort of a time limit for each reading. Either put your cell phone open with the time going so that everyone sees the clock is ticking, or say, you know, I'm really new at this, I can only take 10 minutes before I'm not fresh anymore, or I have to limit my readings to 15 minutes because I just don't have enough time to do everything I'd like. But somehow before you start, give a firm declaration of the length of your reading, or you really will get overwhelmed by people. Also, as you start reading for friends and family, it's a very good rule to say to people outside your immediate family that you have a minimum charge of $5. Otherwise, you'll get a very large clientele of people having very long readings and none of them paying you anything. So you'd rather have a short clientele with some money than a long clientele with no money. And if you don't pay for a thing, you don't appreciate it. The people that don't pay for the readings keep coming back for more and more and more. And the people that pay for the readings really, and the people that come back more and more and more don't take your advice. The people that pay for the readings appreciate what they're getting and honor you and respect you, and it's a much better system. So set a time, frame a maximum time length that you will read for, and also set a small fee, some honorarium. And as we said, when you're finished reading, always, always, always put the cloth around, or a pouch around your cards so they don't collect the negative energies or get bent or stained or anything else, that they always look good. That white rock that was in the bag that I sent your cards in is a piece of selenite. It's nature's cleanser. You can't cleanse the cards the way you would cleanse any other sacred object. You can't give them a salt bath. You can't mist them down. But selenite will cleanse anything. It just takes off the outer oil from people handling them all the time, even if it's just you. So always put the selenite in the bottom of the bag and just let them sleep together, and it will cleanse the cards from top to bottom. I hope you've enjoyed learning how to read your cards, and you might want to think about learning how to use a pendulum and the runes. That's the next step along the way. Enjoy.